Okay, what's going on everybody? So today, I want to do something a little bit different. I'm not sure if this is something you guys are going to be interested in, but I'm just experimenting here. Figured I'd try something new and tell y'all a few stories about myself. I don't exactly have any amazing stories or anything, but I have had a few accidents in my life, especially when I was a kid, and I thought, you know what, I might come out and just do a little story time with Crawly type thing. So, the first accident that I had was when I was about 2 years old, and you're gonna notice as we go along here that a lot of these were due to my dad, because without getting too personal, but my dad was not a very good dad. He was very neglectful. What had happened is that I was about 2 years old, and my dad left some change lying around, like coins, and I ended up swallowing one of the coins, and not a small coin either, a big ass coin, a 2p piece, which is a big coin. And this was pretty scary because I could have died, but I got extremely lucky, and instead of the coin going down my windpipe flat, it went down sideways, so that way I could still actually breathe. But if it had gone down flat, then it would have blocked off my windpipe and I wouldn't have been able to breathe, you know, so I could have died. My next accident was when I was probably about 3 or 4, when I started to ride a bike, that is. You know when you're a young kid and you start to ride a bike with stabilizers and shit? Well, I was starting to ride a bike, and I was on the front of our house, once again, with my dad, under his watch, and in front of our house there's this banking, and at the bottom there is a 6-foot drop, and what I ended up doing was I ended up taking a left turn or right turn, and I went down the banking and went flying off the edge and banged my head on the floor. I had a big bump on my head, and I was just a little kid, you know, about 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever. And this was a 6-foot fall onto a concrete floor, pure concrete, and I banged my head. You know, that's something else that could have killed me. If I had landed on the back of my head, could have seriously died from that. And there's actually this fence that got put up at the bottom of that banking, which is still there because of me. I guess they needed something to happen to realize that there should probably be something there, you know, a fence. But yeah, I ended up having this big bump on my head. Luckily I was alright. I didn't have any brain damage or concussions or anything. It wasn't a bad fall. My third accident, once again, was due to my dad's neglect. And what was happening that day was that he liked to have these scalding hot baths, like really hot baths. He wouldn't run the hot and cold water together. He would literally just blast that shit on hot water and fill it up. And instead of, you know, attending the bath and watching it, you know, keeping an eye on it, he would run the tap and then go off and do something. And he left me wandering around by myself again. And what I was doing is I was getting ready for bed, and I wanted to go and brush my teeth. And because I was only 5 years old, I wasn't very tall, and I had to climb up on the bath in order to reach my toothbrush. And you can probably imagine what happened. I ended up slipping and falling into the bath, and my legs got scalded. Really scalded. I was fucking crying like crazy, wailing at the top of my lungs. It was really bad. Like, I was rushed to the hospital. My legs were literally melted like Freddy Krueger's face. Super red and shit. And I had to end up going on crutches with these casts on my legs, you know, to protect them. It was really bad, you know. You know, once again, due to my fucking shitty father and him leaving a 5-year-old kid unattended while there's a scalding hot bath running, you know. But that's actually it for the father-related injuries because, well, he left after that and he wasn't around anymore, so I was in safe hands, you know. And then when I was about 12 years old, 13 years old, I went on a canoeing trip like a school trip. It wasn't really a school trip, it was more like a support worker type thing where they took kids to do activities. And yeah, we went canoeing. We got dressed up in the wetsuits, we put on a life jacket, and we went canoeing. And I couldn't swim, so yeah, I definitely needed that life jacket. But what ended up happening was that I was canoeing, right, using the paddles, and I ended up flipping over into the water. And you're probably thinking, well, you're safe, right? You got the life jacket on, you'll just float right back to the top. Well, what happened was that I ended up getting trapped underneath the canoe, and I couldn't get out. I don't know how long I was under the water for, but it felt like forever. It was probably only like 45 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. And yeah, luckily I managed to get out from under the canoe eventually from squirming around, and I managed to get up to the top. Nobody helped, by the way. There wasn't any adults or anything that were keeping an eye on us. I didn't get any help. I had to help myself, so luckily I managed to get out, otherwise I might have fucking drowned. And ever since, I've had a huge fear of water, deep water. I've never gone swimming since, never touched deep water, ever. Alright, sorry about that. I just had to go shut my dog up because he likes to bark when I'm doing these recordings. Really annoying, by the way. But the last story we have today is one that happened when I was about 18. Oh, I've never broken any bones, by the way. Never. Not once. I thought I did one time when I used to play football. I used to play as a goalkeeper, and I got a basketball kicked in my hand with no gloves on, and my hand felt like it was fucking broken. It was agonizing. But yeah, never actually broke any bones. And yeah, I was about 18 years old, and I was walking my dog, Coco, on this field near my house, and it was raining that day. And when I was going back down home, instead of going down the regular path as intended, I went down this shortcut instead. And at the bottom of this shortcut was this metal fence with like spikes at the top. One of those spiky fences that is used to prevent people from climbing over it. I don't know why it was there, because you could just squeeze around it, but because it was raining, I slipped on the mud, on the grass, especially with Coco dragging me down as well, so that didn't help. But yeah, I slipped on the grass, and to stop myself from falling, what I did, stupidly, is I grabbed the fence, and I grabbed the top of the fence where the spikes were, and I ended up cutting my finger. And there was quite a lot of blood as well. It was just dripping out like a faucet, like a tap. And it didn't hurt at all. I must have been like shocked or something because it did not hurt whatsoever. So yeah, after that I went to my mum's house. I didn't go home. I went to my mum's house because I was kind of freaking out, you know. My fucking finger was pouring blood. So I went to my mum's house, showed her. She almost passed out because she doesn't like the sight of blood. And we ended up going to the hospital, and it wasn't that bad. They just stitched it up, you know. I wasn't going to die from it, obviously. It's not like it was a dismembered limb or something. It was just a deep cut. And oh man, you should have seen how swollen it got. It was really painful because of how swollen it was. It was literally like a cartoon. Like, if you've ever, like, hit your thumb with a hammer, and then you get all that blood underneath it, and then you can, like, relieve it by poking it with a hot pin. It felt like I needed to do that because it was really tight feeling, but I couldn't obviously do that, so I just had to deal with it. And yeah, it was very discomforting, dude, you know. But it was fine. It healed, and it left this scar on my finger, on my ring finger, on my right hand. But yeah, that's gonna be about it. I'm gonna go shut my dog up again because he's barking, probably at some fucking dog walking by. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Stories with Crawly, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was just something different. I didn't know what to do, you know, I'm bored, so I thought I would try something different, experiment with different things. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to leave your comments, tell me your own stories about accidents you've had, and let me know if you want more of this type of shit. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone. Sayonara.